episode 5. I don't know how we've made it this far. They should have shut us down 4 episodes ago, but we're here. We're recording on the 15th of November on a beautiful Saturday in Melbourne, and I have with me 2 wonderful gentlemen I've seen quite a few times in gig, Mr. Rueben and Mr. Jack from Quiet Neighbours.
Hello.
Oh, fantastic. Synchronized.
We're just connected. We're tight. We play,
You are tight. Very tight. And funny enough, you are actually the band that I've seen the most.
That is crazy.
Right? We will get into the number of times I've seen you later on.
Oh, shit.
But I think the first thing we'll get off the bat is who are Jack and Rueben, and who are Quiet Neighbours?
Well, Jack and Rueben, we would have met, I don't know how long ago.
I think in year 7.
Dude, a long time ago, probably like 8 or 9 years ago, we went to high school. And then I changed schools, but we remained really good friends for years and years. And we eventually moved in together. And that's kind of how Quiet Neighbours started. All the housemates were like, oh, we all play different instruments. Let's make a band for fun.
Yeah, that's exactly how it came together. Jamming from the living room, went jamming to a practice room, to writing songs, to playing on stage. And then now we're here
Doing
on
a podcast with Shagan,
Yeah.
This is the highlight of your career is coming on
We're
this
peaking
podcast
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the highlight of my career is not the songs we've released. It's not the multitudes
No,
of
it's
rooms.
being here
It's
right
this
now.
podcast that has less than 100 viewers as we speak, only because at the time of this recording, only 1 episode has been published yet. But more to come as with this one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So you guys meet, and so before we go into the background of that, what would you describe Quiet Neighbours in terms of genre as?
Oh, this is like a debate that there's another 2 members, Jazz and Charlie, who aren't with us today.
But they will be here soon.
Oh, yeah,
In the near future, Jazz and Charlie will be here.
Yes. It's just been a debate, I think, ever since we started. That we get other people to be like, what genre are we? Because we don't know.
Especially with the songs we're putting out at the moment, I feel like in the future we're moving to a more kind of uniform, like grungy, shoegazy kind of vibe. But at the moment we're in this weird phase where we're like have these old songs we've written which are good and we're releasing them, but we've got this new vibe. And so we're kind of in this weird point where it's like a little bit of punk, a little bit of emo, rock, grunge.
The heavy crossover, I reckon.
So if I put it to you guys, and feel free to disagree with me, right? If I said that you guys have an intersection of pop, emo, and punk, is that wrong? Is that right?
I think that's very right.
That's probably the best someone's ever put it, to be honest.
And then now you've got the grunge element coming in.
The grunge element's definitely
ramping up.
Yeah. From next year, it'll be a lot more present.
What I find interesting, and this is a fun fact for the podcast listeners, which is we are now 5 episodes in, and this is the 4th episode that someone has talked about grunge. So the first question I have to ask is, how big of a Pearl Jam fan are either of you?
Ooh. I love Pearl Jam, but definitely they're on the bottom of the grunge bands for me.
Ooh.
Out of the big 4.
2 people who were on this podcast who shall remain nameless will not like hearing that, but that's okay. Who are your top grunge bands?
I'm a really big fan of Soundgarden at the moment.
Okay, yes. Yeah,
Soundgarden came in. Oh, but actually, Pearl Jam, best MTV Unplugged album ever. That is crazy.
That's a fair take.
But that's me.
No, I reckon Smashing Pumpkins
Real.
is probably a number 1. And I'm sure people would debate if they're grunge or not, but I'm going to call them grunge for the sake of it.
That's your hot take.
That's my maybe. Yeah.
5 minutes in, and the hot take is Smashing Pumpkins is grunge.
Yeah, pretty mild take, to be honest.
It's how you season.
Depends what album.
Yeah, but yeah, they're probably my number 1, and then a healthy mix, I guess, of everyone else afterwards. But Pearl Jam's not one of the higher rotation, not the ones I go and listen to as often.
Yeah, grunge is one of those. Everyone's got their lane.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say that Alice in Chains and Soundgarden are right up there for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I like Pearl Jam. Don't get me wrong. I like Pearl Jam. I'm very partial to 10.
Mhm.
Their
Oh,
day-
Ten's
yeah.
Ten's one of the
Incredible, yeah.
best grunge albums.
Yeah,
Like,
right. And I know people who are very partial to their second album.
It's with the alpaca on the front, right?
Yeah,
Versus, yeah.
yeah. So it is one of those things. But then, like, for me, Alice in Chains, it's hard to pick for me which is a better album.
Yeah,
You know.
Dirt, crazy.
Crazy.
It's
Oh,
like grunge
yeah.
is such a big genre. It's like there's so many different elements. Like you could say Nirvana is punk and Pearl Jam is hard rock, and like you could say Alice in Chains is metal, but they're all grunge. It all kind of it's a weird melting pot.
Whatever was happening in Seattle at that time, it needs to be researched and studied, because 1991
even more than it has been.
even more than it has been. But 1991 was certainly a big year for, you had the Black Album, you had 10, you had like, we could sit here forever and name albums. but
Nevermind.
That's not the.
Is it?
Yep, Nevermind.
Smashing Pumpkins' first album, yeah, dude, it was crazy. Oh, I suppose they went Seattle, but
No, they weren't. I don't think they were Seattle.
Chicago, I think.
Yeah.
But crazy, yeah.
This has now very quickly turned into they were Chicago, yeah. This has very quickly turned into a music history podcast. It's on the Quiet Neighbours podcast. But coming back to, the pop punk emo, so what's been happening lately in the Quiet Neighbours world?
It's kind of ramping down a little bit this year. We've just come off our most recent headline at the retreat, which was on what was the date? It was the
End of October, I think.
end of October, which was great. That was a massive success, and that was for a single launch for our most recent single, which was released in October as
And-
well.
and what was
Mum, Can You Pick Me
Mum,
Up?
Can You Pick Me Up? The party anthem.
Stream that shit.
Um,
On Apple and Spotify.
on everywhere, whichever streaming service takes your preference. And then we're kind of ramping down. One of our members, who will remain nameless, who's not sitting next to me, is heading overseas,
That's me, actually.
and so we've decided to just take it back for a year, take a breather.
Well, for the end of the year, not for a year.
For the end of the year. We may have another cheeky single coming out.
We've got 2 songs actually recorded,
True,
which are in the works, but a little bit of re-recording, mixing and mastering needs to happen.
Yeah.
Is it anything I've heard already?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good, very good.
And then next year we're going to come out swinging.
We've got a big EP planned. It's pretty much all like written, like the bare bones, and we're just settling in on the track list and scraping together some money to record it.
Yeah. Feel free to donate if you
Find the
Give us money,
Find
please.
the quietneighbours.com.au/donate to these.
Yep. Donate to the EP. Yet to be titled.
But yeah, 2025 was a crazy year because it was our first year as a band. Our first gig was December 2024, so pretty much 2025. And I don't know how many gigs we played, but it would have been like, I think it was at least 20. It was like something ridiculous.
It was coming up on almost a gig a fortnight. And I
Yeah.
think we pulled out of a couple towards the end just because we were just busy and like illnesses and stuff, just a healthy mix of life. But I think it was pretty close to that. It was- yeah.
And then so next year, I think, like obviously we're still going to be gigging, but I think now that we've kind of made a name for ourselves in the scene a little bit more, we're able to kind of take a step back and focus on recording and writing and really putting out the quality that we want to. And yeah, that's the plans for 2026.
I think that's important because, the good thing about doing this is that it shocks me. Not shocks me. It's a good surprise that it reminds me how young a lot of the bands are, and because you get to I don't know if anyone listening has been to a Quiet Neighbours gig. I hope people listening have been to
Next
a Quiet
one.
Neighbours gig.
Yeah.
But you can see the draw increasing and more people coming to the show, which is the point.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
over the past year, I think especially from our first headline show, it was the classic, a bit more friends and family, and then just speaking on the retreat, we had people we hadn't met before.
Oh, there were
who was
heaps of
there
them.
to see us, and that was like a crazy, like, oh my god, you have listened to our music, you've discovered us, or you saw us play at a friend's show, and it was an awesome feeling. So that pull's definitely slowly coming along.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a total stranger. Finding out a total stranger's come and spent money on a ticket to see you live. It is like euphoric.
Well, I think that's a testament to the music. Then that's the vehicle of communication, and often that's all you have. You have that vehicle. You have maybe what other people have experienced, and say, And I will always sing your praises because I just enjoy watching you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
And it's a testament that I was just randomly just going. I was like, I wonder how many times I've seen Quiet Neighbours, and I'll keep a good track list of who I've seen and everything. And I was like, I've seen you guys 6 times now.
Oh fuck yeah!
And I know I can always remember back to the first time I saw you guys, which was on the eve of Good Friday.
Yeah, at Bad Decisions.
At Bad Decisions, and that was with Achy Peace as the headline.
Yep.
And you guys were playing second. Sad Bitch Hours were the opening act, and I had already seen Achy Peace about a month ago, and so again I was in this sort of grind of trying to get to 100 unique bands. So I was like, Achy Peace, well, they won't go down as another unique band. Yes, I'll photograph them for the second time, but there are these 2 new bands, Sad Bitch Hours and Quiet Neighbours. Haven't seen them before, so I'll go and watch them. And I remember watching you guys get up. Ruben's hair was also noticeably shorter then.
Yeah, heap shorter.
Charlie's hair hasn't moved an inch. He's kept it at a good, even, steady. So is Jazz.
Oh yeah.
So for you, Jack, as well. It's like hat on, hat off, hat on, hat off.
Oh, yeah.
It's a alternating.
Yeah, it's a flip of a coin every morning, whether I'm a hat guy or not.
And I think that gig you didn't wear your hat, if I'm not mistaken.
That's rare. It must have been a good hair day.
It probably was. But I remember you guys got up and you play your set, and I was like, man, you guys are good. These guys are good, and more importantly, these guys are fun.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
what we want. Yeah.
And it's just nice to see a band get up there and throw that energy out there. And then now, what is it? 7 months later, 8 months later, 8 months later, 6 gigs later, 2 single releases with Low, which was the other single that you released earlier before Mum, Can You Pick Me Up, which was just released.
Also stream that.
And that was another gig that I was at.
Yeah, the single launch upstairs
at
the Tote.
Correct, yeah. And it's mind-boggling that I was like, this is a band that's only like pretty much 11 months. You're not even a year old.
No, well, it's been 11 months since our first gig.
Yeah, I think in a couple, maybe like 3 weeks, we'll come up on our anniversary of our first ever gig
First
that we
birthday,
played.
yeah.
And where was your first gig?
It was downstairs at the Tote.
It was in the band room at the Tote in front of like, how many tickets? It
I
was
think
crazy.
150. It was like
It was supposed to be upstairs and it sold out. And they were like, there's no one in the band room. You guys can have it. And we just kept selling tickets.
yeah. It was a bit of a wild ride.
Supporting Junkyard Wizards, actually.
Yeah.
Shout out Junkyard Wizards.
They got an album coming soon. And when that's out, also go stream it.
Yeah.
That's even more insane because a bunch of people, they covet playing the Tote band room.
Mhm.
Like,
it was ridiculous. I remember coming off it being ecstatic, and then we were like, okay, we have to be realistic here. This was like not real. Like this shouldn't have happened for our first gig.
Yeah, no, we were very lucky, like extremely lucky, and just the way the events transpired of like, all right, tickets are selling, sick. All right, sold out, awesome. And then I think as well as us, like Quiet Neighbours and Junkyard Wizards, but also getting messages by like heaps of people being like, hey, do you guys can we still buy tickets, blah, blah, blah. And then we got moved downstairs and we kept going and we were like, holy shit, we're playing downstairs at the Tote. Like this is an actual stage. We thought our first gig would be like, on a floor, just in the middle of any venue that would take us, let alone downstairs at the Tote. And it was crazy.
It was pretty special, yeah.
It was, very euphoric experience.
yeah, because I think for a lot of people who don't realize this, to play the Tote band room, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal to people who know. If you know, you know.
If you're in the music scene and someone says, yeah, you can play the Tote band room, that's a mark of confidence.
Oh, yeah. The
And-
big tick saying you will sell tickets.
Yeah. I mean, some people just, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm just happy to be moved upstairs. I'm just happy to play the front bar of the tote."
Yeah.
Right? Because you know someone's gonna walk in. You know someone who likes music's gonna be there, and then someone says, "Oh, you moved to upstairs," and it's like, "Whoa, tick! Oh, by the way, you can have the band room."
Yeah. Unbelievable. Mind blowing.
That's insane. That's insane.
It was so lucky. It was, crazy. I can't believe we pulled it off.
Yeah, we pulled it off. And it was actually like, for our first gig, there were very few mistakes, I think. Like, we all made mistakes, and it was the bits here and there. But like, for the first gig in front of that, I think the most we'd ever played to beforehand was like 20 family and friends at a birthday party. And that was like our first, like, all right, let's give this a trial run. And then 2 weeks later we played downstairs at the Tote. And so, yeah.
Well, fun fact, and this will come out in some point, but another band also, their first gig was a birthday party.
Yeah.
And it was Achy Pieces.
Yeah. It's the perfect, it was like, and that one was like, definitely probably didn't go as well as we thought it would. We were like confident, and then it was birthday party, and I think we all got a little bit too drunk beforehand, and we were like, oh shit, this is like a little bit disastrous. Not disastrous.
It was pretty bad. But birthday parties are the best spot to like learn how to practice, because it's like, realistically, you're in front of your family and friends. It doesn't really matter how bad it goes, but it gives you just confidence to do your thing.
Also, it's a birthday party. It needs to like, no birthday party wants a band playing who can't like
Have fun.
make it like hype. Like, you know, it's a birthday party. You want to have fun, be energetic, be excited. So I think that also gave us a really good excuse, like, to practice engaging with the audience, like playing a couple throughout the year and last year, like actually being able to hype up people, get people excited.
Because you have a good stage presence.
Yeah, that's what we really tried to push for that. And I think, like, looking back, those birthday parties that we played, we're like, oh yeah, we'll play your 21st. Why not? It'll be fun. And I think it like has helped translate on stage to pushing the audience, getting everyone involved, creating an atmosphere where everyone can just have fun and jump around, and
Yeah, and you're certainly succeeding at that, because it's your kind of music, which is fast paced, it's energetic, it's uplifting for some songs. It's a little bit, there is that grunge element, which I've heard, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, it sounds grunge, but again, it's like everything.
It's like a sprinkle.
Yeah, just drop D and play a power chord, grunge, done. So a bunch of people are going to get mad at me for that. But like, I can hear that. But a lot of bands don't add that energy, but you guys do, and you're really throwing yourself into it, especially you, Rueben. Like, you're
Ruben's
just
crazy.
yeah. He's, no calm or anything. Just like, nah, just fuck it. Let's just go for
Bro,
it.
it's a wild animal on stage.
Yeah,
If you haven't seen it, you have to come to the next live. It's
my neck and my back are cooked after the past year of gigging, after just jumping around on stage.
I think like from now on, you gotta like walk on stage with like a neck brace, and then when you get on stage, you take it off.
Honestly, I think that might be the way to go. Or just painkillers.
No, probably the neck brace.
Probably the neck brace.
Let's not go down the painkiller route.
No, that hasn't ended well, as history
Yeah,
has showed.
yeah. This is also a history podcast for music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like bad moments of history in music. Terrible. So you move in. So you guys know each other from high school.
Yep.
So you guys move in. You guys know each other from high school. You move into a house, share house, and there are already people there.
no, we got the lease and started it off.
Yeah.
We moved in together. And then a couple months down the track, we had Charlie, who we knew from our area. He went to primary school.
Yeah,
with him.
I've known Charlie for like, I don't know, 16, 17 years or something.
Yeah, and I played soccer with Charlie a little bit through high school. We all knew him through just the network of friends that we'd been hanging out with, going to festivals with, going to gigs with. He moved in, and he's a master musician.
He's one of those people where like he can hear a song and just give him any instrument and he'll just play it. It's incredible.
Oh, so he's an asshole.
He's a very, he's a
pretty
lovely
jealous.
asshole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a lovely guy. I love him to bits.
But yeah, he moved in. We were jamming.
I always wanted to learn bass, so I actually hadn't played a musical instrument properly until Quiet Neighbours. And so Jazz is also Ruben's partner who plays drums. And we were like, oh my God, all we need is a bassist. I've always wanted to learn bass. Let's do it.
Yeah. It just kind of like all randomly connected, just like one day where it kind of clicked. We're like, all right, so you play guitar, you play bass, you play drums. Well, that's kind of like the fundamentals for a band, right? And so we just booked a room, and the first rehearsal I think was terrible. And then the second one was all right. And I think the third one was better. And we were like, cool. So we want to keep doing this?
Yeah, it just started as just like, we were just jamming for fun. Like we weren't like writing songs trying to make a band or anything. We were just like having fun with it. And we were like, oh, actually this is kind of working.
Yeah. And that's pretty much how it kicked off. I think it mainly kicked off when you came back from a trip last year.
Yeah,
and we
true.
went back into a rehearsing. And we were like, so do we actually want to like write or like play a gig? These songs were half written. So we put effort into it instead of just like mindlessly jamming around each session. And we were like, yeah, we did. And then a couple months later, it was the tote downstairs this past year. And now we're here.
I like how the moments in Quiet Neighbours history is all defined around Jack, really. It's like, oh, we need to be a band. Jack will learn the bass.
Yeah,
oh, we need to do stuff. Jack's got to come back from holiday. Oh, we need to do stuff in 2026. Jack's going on holiday.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
everything's just like, oh, when's
Wait
Quiet?
for that guy to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the next gig, someone's going to be like, oh, do you know when these guys are releasing their next single? I'll be like, hold on, let me just go ask Jack.
Yeah, let me see.
I was like, oh, Jack, do you have anything planned for the next 3 months? Any holidays or anything? Any big major life events? Oh, I might have to get my root canal done. I say, well, it's going to be a while.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, like, I think a lot of people will probably just come to a show and they'll just assume, like, that's always one of the things. How does a band meet? And everyone just assumes that, oh, everyone just gets along and it's like, oh yeah, everyone just gets along and they just somehow know each other. Like you all just spring out of the ground like gnomes or something. But it's always fun to hear how bands meet and they form and they go through that process. And, we've all heard the story of Lars Ulrich put an ad in the paper and James Hetfield answered it. But great. I mean, that's Metallica and they are Metallica. But every band has that story. And it's often nice to hear how people know each other and find out, oh, you guys have actually all these things in common. And to be so close is quite nice.
Yeah, the main thing we have in common now is that we all share a roof over our heads. We all live together in the same share house.
Which is a challenge in its own because, you don't get a break.
Oh no, we're very lucky it works out. Like really, it could be way too much if we all like at each other's throats, but we're very lucky that it's all kind of planned out well.
And I think the other way we all live together also is what makes it like work well. Like, and that was also a chat we had when we were first moving in together. Being like, yeah, of course, sometimes I'm just gonna want my own space, and then we'll hang out, blah blah blah. And then Charlie working in through that dynamic, it works out well, and so then it translates into the band. And I've had this conversation so many times with so many people, being like, oh yeah, I live in a share house with my band, and everyone's like, what? Like that's not supposed to work, but it just does. It works, and it's awesome.
I think it's because we're like friends and housemates first, and then the band is something we've been productive enough to build off of that, instead of like starting this band with people we were like half friends with, we kind of knew, and then forcing that dynamic to become a friendship. I think that's
a good way to put it.
That's probably why it's gone so well. But I don't know. Speaking to people, I was a bit shocked really. I hadn't really ever thought about how bands kind of knew each other. And I'm surprised to know a lot of them aren't like really good friends or people they've known for a long time because, I mean, obviously that's like just a hard thing to pull off, to have those connections. So it makes, we're very lucky, like something we really have to appreciate.
Well, I think it puts for people listening to you guys now, knowing this, to the 10 people who will listen to this, the context of like these are 4 people who are friends making music and are working through, living together and the trials of living together, who takes the bins out and who does this and who did the dishes and didn't do the dishes, and then you have to go and take all of that as a dynamic of friends, as a dynamic of housemates, into this is now our dynamic as a band.
Yeah, and a business really.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is very much a business. It is very much an exchange of goods for service, and there's a product that you are selling, which is Quiet Neighbours. But I think you make it a very accessible product, and I don't want to call it a product, but just for the sake of this, but you do make it very accessible, and you kind of keep, you know how like some bands you can kind of see they get on stage and it's like there isn't quite really like the music's good, but there isn't really a dynamic. And you don't get that with you guys. You know, what I see is 4 people who get on stage and they're having a good time. And I mean, I see you guys sitting together and like relaxing and enjoying a meal. And I've been fortunate to join you guys for a meal as well before a gig. That was at the Earth Cadet one.
Yes.
Shout out Earth Cadet.
They're
Go
really
go
cool.
stream their new album. That's also sick.
You know, and
Yeah.
Such a Days' new single as well.
Go stream that as well. There's heaps of streaming.
Yeah, just after you get off this podcast, stream.
Stream.
you
But
know?
Mum, can you pick me up first,
Yes.
please?
Yep.
In order, Mum, can you pick me up? And then followed by Low, and then anything after that.
We'll
that
make
has
a
been-
playlist just for this episode.
Yeah, the Quiet Neighbours behind the scene playlist.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, coming back to this, when I watch you guys, I'm always genuinely pleased to see how much fun you guys are having, and how do you translate that? Because it's not an easy scene to be a part of. It is a pretty vast and saturated scene, and especially the music you play, it is played by a lot of bands.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was having this chat with someone say, if you want to be a punk band, this is the place to be. If you want to be an emo band, or even to some degree a pop band, this is the place to be. That is not a shade to any other genre, but we tend to, even like we were just talking about before we started recording, we were talking about Amel and the Sniffers, and my understanding is they're a Melbourne band as well.
Yeah.
So it is very much a punk. There's some emo and there's some pop elements here. And then you guys are doing all three, and you're having to slot in to this market. And in a year, you've built a name for yourself. 2 singles, more on the way. You're doing sort of all the things that a lot of bands at 3 or 4 years haven't even thought about. And it's really very commendable.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You know, and I think one of the things that I want you to kind of expand on is, this was at the old bar, Ruben, and I remember this was when I saw you guys at the old bar, and you were telling me how regardless of what happens, you guys always sit down every 2 months and have a little band meet up.
Yeah, we have a little game plan. Get the whiteboard out.
I'm very curious.
It came up
I mean,
whiteboard.
you don't have to give away everything. Don't give away all the secrets, but what can you tell us about your little 2 monthly meetings?
I think it's more like it's almost so like we rehearse every week, or we try to, life, but every now and then, especially when we know there's stuff coming up. So, for example, past couple months have been hectic because we released a single, we promoted that single, we recorded a music video, which is coming. I don't know if we've announced that, but it's announced now. We got a music video coming.
Exclusive.
It's a behind the scene exclusive.
Yeah.
We can
own it.
We
Own
can
it.
finally
yeah.
say that.
And like we just had all this stuff coming up with the gig, blah blah blah. And so it's like we will sit down and just be like, all right, everyone's kind of like on the same page. This is what's going on. What do we actually want to do in regards to this, etc., etc. And I think it's just a good way of just planning ourselves out. I think just like also checking up on everyone, making sure we're all good for the band, good in general, moving forward. Like it's a nice, like, especially because just, days go like that, like, and, then weeks. And if we're rehearsing and we're doing gig here, gig there, like we just get lost in time, and then we've all got our own lives to live. It's just yeah.
It also really helps, I feel, with like delegating some of the tasks. We're able to really work as a team. Like, for example, the Mum Can You Pick Me Up launch, where like making merch and picking that up and designing posters, going back and forth with the mix and master. Like, there's so many different things happening at once that we kind of use these meetings to step back and say, all right, well, we've got this many days, so maybe you can do this, I'll do this, really try and maximize what we can get done with the four of us.
Yeah, because we do it almost all. We've got our connections, and we reach out to certain people when we need be, help out with printing posters. Shout out Mr. Moto.
Yeah, real.
But most of the stuff that we've done has been
DIY.
us in terms of promo, in terms of.
We made our own stickers. We make like thousands of stickers before every headlining gig. We spent hours cutting them all out.
Yeah,
just to
we
save
print
money.
them off our own bat, and we just sort of got free stickers just to lather any venue that we step in with our free stickers.
I'm trying to remember a venue that I saw, but I have seen these stickers.
Yeah.
I have seen these stickers because I will turn around and I will be walking through a venue and I'll be like, I know them, and I have seen a Quiet Neighbours sticker, but I remember when you told me that at the old bar, we have these 2 monthly meeting, we sit down every 2 months, and I turned to one of my friends, I said, they're going to go far. And he was like, oh, why do you say that? I said, how many bands do you know sit down every 2 months just to do admin?
Yeah.
I was like, this is not something bands do. Bands don't like doing admin. If anything, bands find every excuse not to do admin.
Our admin's like, what do we say? Like a well-oiled machine.
It's pretty crazy.
We
treat this shit like a job. I probably do this more than my real job or uni work.
Yeah, I do more behind the scenes work than probably life admin, to be honest. It's maybe that's procrastination. That's something I probably gotta sort my shit out with. But we are all over it. It's well done. Like
Yeah, we're a good team. I think that's kind of what works so well is the four of us, we all have our own strengths and everyone's kind of able to bring something, admin wise especially, but just music wise in general, that balances out to kind of cover all bases really.
Yeah, it's kind of like it kind of leaves me a little bit speechless because I'm like, oftentimes when you speak to bands, and this is not a shade against bands, right? We've all been there. It's the fun of doing this. It's the fun of rehearsals, and you look forward to the gig. And so when you have to do the admin stuff, it's not fun.
No.
But it's really the thing that separates you from the market. And I'm starting to see that your admin work is really what puts you apart. Now, don't take that the wrong way. The music is great. I love the music, but I think a lot of people want to work with a very well organized group of people, and you're definitely sitting in a lot of good company. Obviously we can talk about it openly here, because this episode's about you guys, right? And I'm just curious, in terms of being a well-oiled machine on the admin side, are you guys equally a well-oiled machine in terms of developing how your sound is? Or is that a bit more chaotic?
It comes and goes, I feel like.
I was going to say, that's a good question.
Like, I don't know, the music's kind of, it can be a little bit all over the shop. I feel like primarily it's kind of Rueben and Charlie pumping out riffs. And because we live together, they spend a lot of time just jamming in the lounge room. And it kind of comes from there.
A lot of our songs, we've especially the stuff we're taking forward into the EP next year. There's a couple other stuff that we're writing and working on. We jam it so often that it kind of fits into that sound evolves maybe over a month of us just jamming the song at the end of rehearsal, and it helps it find its own place in what it sounds like. And I think that's also how we've kind of stumbled onto this sound that we do want to pursue. is because we've kept jamming all these other songs and these ideas and these riffs and writing stuff, and it kept like evolving into this new sound, like this grunge gazy sound that we're hopefully going to be pursuing next year with this whole EP. And I don't know how to.
Yeah, I feel like every song, it takes a long time from conception to having a finished product. Every song kind of goes through this steady, it morphs. It might come from a riff or from a jam, and then we'll come back weeks at a time, say, oh, this could be good as a bridge, or we just jam it. Sometimes we just jam chorus, verse for like 10 minutes. Just like people are just soloing and seeing what happens.
I mean,
So it's
just
very fluid. It changes with almost every song how it all comes out.
But we change what we do when we do those chorus and verses and those back and forths, and it's just like trying different stuff. All right, what if we did this instead of this? What if you're playing this instead of this? What if we did like a dropout hit? What does that equate to? And we just go over and over and over, and then if we get some good stuff out of it, awesome, and then we'll work on it. And then if we don't, it's kind of like, well, sometimes it's like, what didn't we like? What did we like? Or maybe we're like, maybe we'll just shift gears to this other idea that we've got, and we'll see what comes up with that.
I'm curious, do you have a little whiteboard? And with the song name, you're nodding.
Yeah, we actually do. And we also spend a lot of time at Colart's rehearsal rooms when they all have the whiteboards. So we're quick on those. We got getting the structure out. Everyone's writing back and forth.
Off the phone's just photos of the whiteboard from every rehearsal, just what's actually been going on.
Yeah, I'm very much like that as well. If I'm practicing a song, I like to get the structure out, and I'll just do, like A is for verse, B is for verse 2, whatever, and then the hook, and you just go like 1 2 1 2 1 2, something like that. And this is probably going to give away my my interest in music, but I'm a big Dream Theater fan, and I watch all their behind the scenes stuff as well, and I see how they bring a song together. And Mike Portnoy is a very particular guy. Their drummer. I don't know how much of Dream Theater but he's a very particular guy, and they will, do they'll draw lines on their whiteboard and be like, oh, song 1, song 2, verse, and then they'll tick things off as they go. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. I think it's good because it at least gives you a structure to what you're working on.
We've found it's good to have structure, especially when we've got stuff that we should actually be doing. So for like the retreat gig, like we're like, oh, okay, we should probably actually practice, right? We shouldn't just spend our whole rehearsal time just jamming and writing new stuff, and else we just thought we'll just play like 30 minutes of some improv funk jam bluesy thing, and then we're like, oh lol, we have actual like punk stuff that we should probably be practicing. But it's that's still fun. But having that structure, being like, all right, guys, this rehearsal's actually like, let's actually focus on our set. Like, let's practice that. And then next week, when the gig's passed, we can do whatever we want to do. Like, it doesn't matter. So,
and we started the episode talking about how it's ramping down for the year because Jack has a major milestone in his life of a holiday. So of course Quiet Neighbours must go on hiatus when Jack goes.
We can't function without it.
Yeah, there is no Quiet Neighbours without Jack.
No,
kind of literally because there's like, oh, we have the 2 guitarists and the drummer. Where's the bassist?
Play an octave pedal.
Yeah. But I guess what I was gonna come to was, you talk about having that structure, and I can imagine that there must be some points where one of the 4 of you has to tell the other one, that's fucking shit. And then you have to go home and be housemates. And you don't have to say who or anything. That's not the case, right? Because we'll have the other 2 on.
Ruben's the bad guy.
Yeah,
yeah. I think me and Charlie have had a couple moments where we bounce back and forth between rhythm and lead, and I think we've been polite about it in the past, but we've definitely been like, maybe we'll do this, maybe do that, blah blah blah.
I feel like everyone's pretty good at taking the criticism. We all like try to be pretty polite to each other.
Yeah.
But if someone does something and it's like sounds like shit, then we'll be like, oh, like maybe try this, or like that doesn't fit,
Yeah.
But it's just all a permutation of that sounds like shit.
Yeah. The whole rehearsal was just, guys, this is...
Well, the real response is that that doesn't happen with us because everything we make sounds awesome.
Yeah, that one. Well, yeah, but we're all pretty polite. We banter around and we'll joke around, but I think when things come down to it, it's it's everyone's like we've got 4 people expressing themselves creatively in different ways with different backgrounds, and so it's all like everyone's pretty respectful and we more try and make things work. And like as funny as it would be to be like, oh, that sounds like shit, do this, do that. And like we might like joke around, but if there's actually like a thing where we're like, oh, maybe this doesn't work, well, we've all approached it in very like respectful, considerate ways, and more try and build off it rather than cut down everyone's ideas and opinions in that sense.
And I feel like everyone has the same priority of like we want to make the best song.
Yeah.
And like we want to put the best thing out for Quiet Neighbours. So like if someone does something and it sounds like shit and people say like, oh, like this will be better and it is better, then it's kind of like, well, like good, nice thinking, because I want it to be as best as it possibly can.
Yeah, we've had the things was like, yeah, that might not be it. Let's just keep trying for different lead lines. And me and Charlie have done a lot of that jamming where even I've been like, dude, I know this isn't it, but just this is what I've got for the next 2 weeks whilst I'm trying to come up with a different lead line and so on and so forth. And everyone's pretty, everyone understands it's not like you suck specifically. It's just like,
You just suck specifically right now.
You fucking suck.
No, I think it's a really mature process for a very young band. And I say young band because if I had said to anyone, oh, how long do you think Quiet Neighbours have been around? I'm sure people have said, oh, they must have been around for a couple of years. I'll say, nah. Because realistically, a band doesn't start until their first gig.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
You can gig at home and jam at home for however long, but your existence starts at your first gig.
yeah, you haven't stepped out the door.
Yeah, and so for you guys to be 11 months into it, just a year really, when this comes out, and have 2 singles, and you're already just like down this track, it's almost like, oh, we just have to do this year and then the second year because that's how life works. But thought-wise and mentally mature, in a maturity sense, you're already kind of further down there. So I guess the next question then is, 2 questions, right? One is, can you think back to the moment or moments where it went from this is a little bit more than just fun and this is something quite real as a band and as a business of being a band, to have you guys started entertaining doing a tour?
Maybe there's been
Ooh.
brief discussions.
There's thoughts about it next year for sure.
That's still very much very, very nothing's
confirmed or anything, but there's talks, that's for sure.
There's talks, there's discussions about
We'll
how this EP will be promoted, and that has been brought up, and I think it's been met with that sounds sick.
Yeah, so like we're all pretty keen on it, so it's just something to iron out and really get the specifics in.
What it will entail and what it might even eventuate to will be probably planned over the next couple months.
Yeah.
To be determined.
To be
Yeah,
determined.
to
Maybe
be
Jazz and
determined.
Charlie will have more to speak on that when they jump on, but at the moment, that's probably all we have.
Bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
We like a good mystery.
Yeah,
We like a good mystery. So that takes care of the second part of the question, but let's going back to the first part, which is that sort of biggest turning point for the band in the last year.
I have a good answer to this, and it was, so we've made a couple songs. So take you back to like, let's say we've been rehearsing for maybe a month, maybe just about a month, and the only songs we'd written have been like really easy pop songs. Like they were good songs, but they weren't really what we'd wanted to
They were a bit
achieve.
more like fun, just thrown together in the sake
Yeah.
of the moment.
Exactly. And then one day, I have no idea who wrote the riff. It's probably Rueben. They came in and we learnt the song called Banger.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, it was Rueben. And if you've seen us live, you would have seen this song because we play it every single time. And it just kind of like opened my eyes to like, oh my God, this song is actually sick. Like this song's actually good, and this is what we want to make.
Yeah, that was definitely a turning point, I think. That was probably where the first like whole grunge gazy sound came from as well. And I think we were all kind of leaning towards that, but we just, even like from the songs we were just jamming and making and writing from just being very easy, like thrown together kind of poppy surf rocky stuff, to just like getting that little bit more punky and that little bit heavier and that little bit heavier. And we kind of like, I think I brought that through. And I think the only reason I brought that through is because I like figured out the direction of it instead of like it just being one riff line. It was like, oh, I think I have this, like, this is how like the verse would go in terms of like bass or blah, blah, blah. And that was like the, oh shit, this is like so much more what we want to do.
Oh, it's like it had substance to it. If you haven't heard Banger, you can actually listen to it on our Bandcamp, I think. There's some recording of it from a radio show we did. But if you have seen us live and you don't know the song, it starts off pretty heavy, and it kind of has a regular song at the start, and it transcends into this like really big spacey build, coming back into the heaviness again. And I think it's Charlie's favorite song. It might be my favorite song as well we've ever written.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best songs we've ever written. One of the best ones to play. It's just been, from all the early stuff that we've done, it's been pretty timeless, I think, for all of us. And then even then, like, Jazz has like recently kind of like been experimenting with the drums on it. And then that's taken that to a new level as well, because then we're like, oh, okay, so this can get even heavier and cooler and more depth and stuff to the way the song plays out over like 6 minutes or something. But yeah, I agree. That was our.
I still remember running out of the rehearsal room to go on a little break and everyone grinning and smiling, being like, oh my God, this is actually a good song.
Yeah. And we're having that feeling more and more, I think, with
for sure.
Songs that are making that feel more real as a band. Like we're really hitting our sound collectively. We're like, oh shit, yeah, this is a good representation of what we want to be making and putting out. And I think with those feelings of like, oh dude, like that song that like Watch Your Mouth ever so recently, I'm just listing songs like Desolation as well, like that ending I think was like one of the one, like we've been having that more and more and more with that. Yeah.
And would you say that, I mean, it's one thing to have a bunch of people at your show, but do you feel like your music's being received in the way you want it to be received? And what's your thoughts on the local scene? Like when you take your stuff from the living room and the couch into the rehearsal, and then you bring it to us, mere mortals, what's your view on all of that?
It's often like a pleasant surprise. I find that a lot of the time when we do gigs, the people who maybe don't play a lot of music come up and talk about they really like the catchy, more poppy, more punky songs. But then like a vast majority of the time, the musician, like people who are in other bands or maybe they've supported or we supported them, will come up and tell us how much they love like Banger, like we were saying, or we've got a song called Lost with no lyrics. It's just like this really long, heavy instrumental. And like, it surprises me that it receives the reception it does, really.
Yeah, I think especially over the past like 11 months, I guess this year when we really started picking up gigging again early this year, to go from, because we were still playing some of that poppier, surf rockier stuff at the beginning, and that was everyone's favorite stuff, and that slightly heavier sound people weren't really like, we weren't getting like complimented on, or like being like, that was like the audience we were playing for wasn't engaging with that as much as we kind of hoped we would. And then as we kind of moved on from that stuff, kind of found our sound a little bit more, went down the punkier, a bit more like shoegazy, grungy, emo-y sound, and we started also being like, well, we should probably play shows to that demographic. Like we don't want to be playing a show with like a folk singer if we're like a grunge band. Like that's probably not that's not what we want. And so we started pushing ourselves towards that audience and that part of the scene and started tailoring it a little bit more, playing with bands such as Achy Peace and Earth Cadet, like those bit more heavier, that more heavier rock. And I think since then we've found that the engagements for the stuff that we really enjoy playing a lot more, that we want to keep playing, like Banger, like these songs we keep mentioning. We're getting more engagement for that, and that's been very rewarding, I think.
I should add that we have also played together
Yes.
at a gig.
We have.
Shout
So
out
we're
Bleeding.
so
Bleeding live.
we are very lucky to have played with you. We might have caught you on the tail end of like, gotta leave these guys behind. They're not hard enough for us.
No, that was
No, that
like
was an
that was
excellent
that was part of the time when we were pushing towards that. Like you guys were like one of the first bands I think we played with where we're like, these guys are like,
To the right vibe.
these are like our vibe. Like we're in the right spot. Like that gig at Nighthawks, we had those are the examples of people coming up being like, yeah, not the poppy stuff.
As opposed to like a Bad Thursdays gig where, you know, the venue might just pick a bunch
The
bunch
Bad
of
Thursdays
bands.
were rough for a little while,
of.
but we met you, so that was the
exactly
playoff.
right.
It's like it's still worth it.
We were able to like more intentionally pick the gigs that we're going to and the supports if we were headlining, just to kind of tailor it to get the right crowd for our music. I think that took a little while to really lock in.
And I think we've been working on, like, when we've done our headlines, like, one, getting new bands that we haven't played with before to expand, like, our networking and our reach, and seeing what other bands are out there. What else is, like, the parts of the scene that we haven't seen yet? Can we bring them on? Can we try them out? Like, we want to keep networking, keep meeting people, and then also, like, tailoring, like we're not just headlining, we're creating a night of music. Like, it's an event. We like coming from that perspective to help bring in the audience that's like, you know, going to engage with like this sound for the night, making it like a experience from the first artist to the last artist. If like headline, that's being us, it's like, all right, if we're like the last one, we're like the heaviest. So then how's that going to play out? You know, we're not going to have like a heavier band than us play before, because then the night, like the feeling of the night warming up, it goes dung, 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 like bounces back and forth. You want the whole night to feel cohesive and like an experience. And I think that's helped create like and engage with the audiences that we want to.
I think it's great. I think it's great because a lot of people just don't give a shit about that. And part of this little side project is about getting you guys to peek a little bit behind the curtain, right? Just a little peek behind what it takes to do this, but also kind of in some ways with a little bit of an attitude of saying, this is how little you are paying for this experience.
You get to see what really, you get to see what really all goes into it.
Yeah, and all for a very accessible amount, you know?
Yeah. It's like the behind the scenes of like, especially now that we've done it and we've been doing it for the past like 11 months, and like now know more what goes on behind the scenes for every artist. And it's like, you can see some people who will like go over the top and put in so much effort, and because they're really passionate about it. And then there's other bands who might play and it's just like, sweet, we're just going to play. And like each to their own. That's not a diss to those bands. Like, that's not what
But that's not Quiet Neighbours.
but that's not how I guess we want to operate. But it's just like, now that we know the behind the scenes, it like makes more sense.
Yeah, we're very much of the opinion that it's like the music's a part of it, but we're all really want the entire experience to be as best as it can possibly be, whether that's from like the behind the scenes admin or curating a good night. Like, I think we're all on the same page that like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it as best that we can. Yeah.
And I think we had that conversation at the start as like, well, we're doing this for fun, like for ourselves. And it's this, we're making music for enjoyment and to have a good time, and it's an expression and it's a bit of fun. And because why not, you know? It's also, we get along well. All of us will hang out when we gel well together. But I think
I feel like a lot of the fun comes off from like feeling good about what we've done.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into the best experience possible, because a lot of the music is fun, but it's also so much fun finishing a headlining set and like the night's going really well, everything's panned out well. And I think that they both kind of tie in together.
yeah, and it's like it's good to be able to put effort into something we're passionate about. So for all that organizing and the admin that we do and try and like take seriously, like I know me and you have had chats about it where we're like, well, this is actually enjoying for us because we're passionate about what we're doing and it's fun for us. So why not put effort into something that you're passionate about? Like we're not trying to be like the next biggest rock stars. That's not exactly what we're pushing. I mean,
But we enjoy like pushing ourselves.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's been. I think that's where a lot of that comes from as well. That like organization and everything. It's just because we're enjoying what we're doing, and it's rewarding for ourselves. So why not make it more rewarding for ourselves by putting effort into it?
Do you find the scene is a very welcoming one, that what you've put out there you're receiving back?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's very like give and take kind of thing. But I certainly think that we've like all the effort we've put in, I think has paid off. Like I think the reception we received has been worth it.
I think the reception, yeah, it's definitely been. It's been like what we've been playing for 11 months, and so we're still very dipping our toes into a massive scene, both nationwide and in Melbourne, and it's vast. But I think especially towards the end, we like I said before, we started like tailoring our shows and wanting to play with people who kind of fit more of our scene, kind of finding that niche in the scene. And I think that's made a massive difference in sense of like how we've been received. Like I said before, you don't want to, if you were seeing a folk singer and you had some like grunge band come on, start screaming their house down about whatever, you'd be like, who are these guys? Why are they here? I don't want to be listening to them. So I think finding that niche where we might fit in, where people are more open to engaging with our style of music has made it a massive difference in terms of like how welcome we feel in the scene.
And also, I feel like reception-wise, you kind of get what you give. Like at the end of the day, we're not the greatest Melbourne rock band ever, but
Not
No.
yet.
so well, not yet, right? So like I think reception-wise, you kind of get what you deserve. Like we're putting in this effort and we're receiving recognition and we're growing, and it's like I think it's like feedback, good and bad, has been deserved, and we're all learning from it.
Yeah, we've had some shit shows.
Oh,
Where
we've
it's
had
like
some stinkers, dude.
if I saw us, I probably wouldn't
Dude, yeah.
check them out after. It's just like that's like I guess that happens to everybody. But we try and bounce back and come back again for the next show and really push. And we're trying to push like meeting people. Like someone comes up to us after the show, be like, "That was great." I'll be like, "Thank you so much." Like, what was your name? Really trying to engage with everyone because that's how the scene operates.
Yeah,
That's how it works. Everyone should be mates.
That's just
and
how it goes. Yeah. If you have a shit show, like you're gonna get shit feedback, and like I think we just work towards like minimizing that.
yeah.
But yeah,
But even the guts to come up to a band after the show, be like, "Hey, that was great. I enjoyed that." Like to be like, "Oh, thank you," and like never talk to them again is kind of like, nah. Why wouldn't you take the time to like give attention to someone who's stayed and given you attention for 30 to 50 minutes, watching your show, enjoying it, building up the courage to go and like being like, "That was great. I enjoyed that." That's like being able to respond and meet those people in the scene. It's awesome.
Yeah,
scene is good.
That's the good thing, like we want to know whether the scene is good or the scene is bad and what it needs more. But I like coming and telling you guys, yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that
I
was
think it's
good.
really important
And,
to give positive feedback.
And I can say you guys are only getting better.
Oh yeah.
And having seen like from so much of that is also influenced by where you play, sound on the night, there's all these other things going on in the background, right? But there should be some baseline level going. Look,
Oh, for sure.
it's a Quiet Neighbours gig. It's gonna be good. It's
That's what we strive for.
it's a
Yeah.
Quiet Neighbours gig. You're gig ready, as they say, right? You're always
yeah.
gig ready. But I certainly almost can see like this journey from the first one to now.
Oh yeah,
and
you've
then-
been there the whole way.
Well, not the whole way, but certainly at enough. And I would argue not enough, because I always enjoy watching you guys. I have often asked you guys, you gonna play Mum, Can You Pick Me Up? You gonna play that? You gonna play that? Like this fucking weirdo fucking fanboy, because I'm like,
actually do remember the first time we met you. You ran up afterwards and said, "Mum, can you pick me up? I need that in my phone right now."
I do.
Yeah.
I
We
was-
got there. We got there after
And
like
look at us
6
now. It's
months.
released.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
and it's a great song. It's just such a great song, and I like it. I don't care about anyone else. I like it, and I know you guys like it. And having seen the single launch at Retreat, it's not just me who likes it. A lot of people like it.
That
Yeah,
was
that
pretty
was a-
mind blowing.
That was a crazy experience to have people singing lyrics that we've written back to us for the first time. I
Yeah.
think that we were all a bit taken aback by it. Yeah, some friends and family know the song. My mum definitely knows the song. She loves it. But
the chorus of the crowd singing it was crazy.
to hear like the entire room of people, like 100+ people, all singing it back to us, I think we were all taken a little back. I remember turning behind me and like made eye contact with Jazz, and we were both like, "What the fuck? Like
This is
we-
real."
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this is actually how it was. Yeah, so good feedback.
Do you have any local artists that inspire you the most?
Ooh.
Shagan, just Shagan.
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing to inspire you, but sure.
Oh,
That's a good question. I should have come in with a list.
I
or
think
something.
we've met these guys pretty recently. At the Such a Days gig, but
Oh, Earth Cadet.
Earth Cadet,
Yeah, they
they've
rock.
been.
They rock.
They're awesome. They've just released a new album, which is amazing. They're from down in Bendigo, up in Bendigo, I
And
guess.
they're really approachable. They're really nice. And
Yeah.
I feel like that goes a long way. They make really good music that we like, is like our vibe, and then it's also really easy to chat with them. I think.
Yeah,
It's-
and I think that's they came to our retreat gig. They've got a gig on the 23rd next Sunday at the Tote upstairs.
Which will have passed, because
Oh,
this
yes.
episode comes out on the 7th of December.
Shit, true.
But if you were at the
if
23rd,
you were at
there,
there, then respect. I forgot about the timeline.
that's
But
all right.
Earth Cadet, shout out them. They're great guys. And it's just been great knowing them, and
Badass broadcasters.
badass broadcasters.
They're pretty
100%.
awesome. We played Waxman. They were fucking crazy.
Morning Birds as well. They've got an album on the way.
Dude, there's a whole list of them.
There's a whole list. We've met so many great people this year.
Oh, Achy Peace, obviously.
Bleeding. That was a killer lineup.
That was a fun one.
We're waiting
was
for a
good.
return show.
The return show is on its way.
On its way.
We are deep in practice.
Yeah.
We
Hell
will
yeah.
play soon, and you will definitely get an invite.
Yeah,
know?
sick.
It is not a show about me or my band or anything, but I did notice when we started playing and you were looking at me playing the guitar, you were like, "This is very interesting. That man is normally on the other side
It was
of the stage."
it was an
Yeah.
interesting flip. It was kind of like, it was just like, oh yeah, he's not the photographer this time. It was like, it was nuts, but it was great to see. It was like, you're absolutely shredding. It was like,
It was crazy when you jumped into the crowd. I was like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
yeah. It was just it was a different
very
side of
cool.
Shagan that we got to know and got unlocked for us
Shaking
instead
behind the
of
scene.
instead of the one, normally behind the camera taking all these sweet photos.
But I do like capturing those moments of you guys, because it, like, when I go back and I look at it, I do see 4 people who now I can say I do see 4 friends who are having the time
Oh,
of
for
their
sure,
having the
100%.
time of their life, and who are doing it in a city and in a scene that is obviously throwing it back at them and saying, "Yeah, guys, this is what we want more of this." And I again, you talk about banger, and maybe the non-musicians in the crowd will love. I think everyone loves Mom, Can You Pick Me Up? And that's kind of it. It's agnostic in its crowd. And then you will have songs like Low, which also kind of ride both sides. But then you'll have Banger, which all the musicians in the crowd are going, "Yeah, look at that song structure. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
and it's and it certainly has its audience. But it's good to see that you're able to draw not only the musos,
Oh, for sure.
but also the quote unquote the casuals,
The
you know,
casuals,
but
the punters.
the punters.
the punters, yeah.
Yeah, we love that word here.
Yeah,
You know?
it's yeah. I don't know if it goes past Melbourne, but I don't know. Punters are very
Yeah, but I think in the end, they're no longer musos or casuals. Really, what they are is they're fans.
Yeah, exactly right. It doesn't really matter if they make music or not. A fan's a fan.
And they're certainly a fan if they're singing your song back to you. You
Yeah.
know? And I can only imagine that must have been like another turning point.
Yeah, that was pretty mind blowing. Definitely, maybe, I don't know if it was a turning point, but it was definitely eye opening. It was very rewarding. It was-
especially after the couple months that led up to it of pushing for it, organizing the gig,
It
all
was
the
so much
promo,
work, yeah.
like even just going from just walking up and down Sydney Road, Smith Street, putting up the posters for the gig, like everything that went into it from all four of us and everyone else who helped us with it to then come back and like we played that and that's how it ended in that like glory of people singing the
It was like everyone came up and shook our hand and said, "Don't worry, all the work you've done is worth it."
yeah, pretty much. And it was an awesome feeling. And I think we all came back to our place and we were all like, holy shit, we just did that. And yeah.
Yeah, it was just a big relief, I guess. It was like, oh my god, it all worked out. It was all worth it.
And then I think we all just passed out after that from exhaustion and just,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
it was, yeah.
If there's one thing you want to see more of in the Melbourne scene, what is it?
Can we say people wearing Quiet Neighbours t-shirts?
You can say people wearing quiet. I don't care if you plug yourself. I don't care if you tell people to spend all their money at
buy
your show.
our merch.
And
Jack designed it.
I did design it. It's not even on. Well, it will be online. Check it out. It's on the Bandcamp. Also, going out just to see a live show, just for a laugh. No, actually, change. All right, my thing is seeing the supports. If you're going to go to a gig, show up for the supports. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing I would like to
100%.
see.
Like you'd be surprised at how much more amazing music is out there if you just saw the supports. Like the band that you love, that you enjoy their music, that you're paying to see.
They've specifically picked these people.
Yeah, they've picked these people because they're like, hey, they sound like us. They're here to like for the night to help us sound, but like they're there for you because that band that you love picked them for you. Like
You're not buying a ticket for the headliner. You're buying a ticket for the event and tying back into like curating a night. Like, I mean, it just makes your dollar go further, really, because $10 for a ticket, 3 bands is unbelievable.
yeah, and like especially like I mean we try and go see gigs as often as possible, random gigs, whether it's just like, you know, Northcote Social has their free gigs on Monday. We live just down the road, so we try and pop down whenever we can. But like, just there's so many amazing musicians out there who are playing in the corner of a room, in the corner of a bar or a pub, and like you're missing out by not engaging with them, by seeing the supports, or just going to a live music venue. Just free entry. There's someone playing at the Tote. There's someone playing at the Gem. There's someone playing. We live like
Last
Thornbury-
Chance Rock and Roll Bar.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we live Thornbury way, and like you go down High Street, every second bar has someone playing there.
Bar 303.
Bar 303,
Croxton.
Croxton.
Gummo.
Even the smaller ones though, they're like
Northcote Social. Northcote Theatre. There's another smaller band room which is on the other side of the street where 303 are on. I always forget the name. It's like Bar Open or Bar.
Joe's, no. I don't know. There's a lot of them.
There's so many to count.
yeah.
You know, so it's sport for choice. Shot Kickers.
Shot
Yeah.
kickers. Shot kickers is awesome.
Oh.
Wesley Ann, even though they've got
Wesley
like
Ann. Yep.
funk stuff going out the front, like, you know, just there's so much there for you to open your eyes to.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, this is the part where we must tone it down. So I just want to say thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
Thank you, Shagan.
No, my pleasure. Of course, there was no way I was going to kick this off without having you guys. So thanks for being episode number 5. And for the people listening who haven't heard Mom, Can You Pick Me Up? I'm going to play it right
sick.
now. So, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The grass is always greener. At least that's what they say. And I've been here for an hour, but it feels like all day. This other side of the fence, it's only meters away. And I'm stuck here on this couch in a potent green hay. Now I'm looking for my phone. Now I need to make a call. Now I'm looking for your name. Don't let this be my fate. Now I'm asking, Mom, can you pick me up? I think I went ahead, I smoked too much. Don't know what to do, I'm really stuck. Mom, can you pick me up? Because I smoked too much. It's coming round again. You know you can't say no. 'Cause if you've been here before, you know how this goes. The road, another one up, and it's coming my way. I'm here on this couch, I don't know what to say, and I'm just thinking, no, no. Now I need to make a call. Now I'm asking, Mom, can you pick me up? Now I think I went ahead, I smoked too much. Don't know what to do, I'm really stuck. Mom, can you pick me up? Because I smoked too much.
You have reached the message banker.
Yeah, the room is shrinking in. Now I need something to drink. Now I can't straight think. But wait, there's fucking bugs in my skin. Now I need to be safe. Now I'm in such a haze.